Welcome to the 6th annual Women for Courage event, hosted by the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage. Our theme this year is Be the Light. I'm Erica Bryant, news anchor at WSOC TV Channel 9, and I'm excited to serve as your MC for the 6th year in a row. Due to COVID-19 awareness, we unfortunately cannot be together in person this year, and of course we miss you all and look forward to being together at another time soon. However, we would like to thank you for joining our virtual event as we still work to bring awareness to and prevent intimate partner violence before it begins. We hope that you enjoy the program today. Now, due to the format of this year's program, we'd like to let you know how you can help, just in case you get called away from your device, have to help your child, or take a business call. But we do hope that you will stay with us until the end of our program, as we have a few surprises up our virtual sleeve. Now, let's take a look at how to give. 8 years ago, Jamie Kimball courageously left an abusive relationship. 3 months later, she was shot to death by her abuser, who then shot and killed himself. Both acts of selfish and senseless intimate partner violence. It was this phrase spoken at Jamie's funeral, quote, "This was not God's plan for Jamie to die. It was her perpetrator's plan. God's plan was for Jamie to live. And now God's plan is for Jamie's spirit to live so that others will live." That inspired her parents, Jan and Ron Kimball, to create the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage in 2013. The funds raised by the foundation, including your generous donations today, support the foundation's 4 pillars: preventing intimate partner violence, educating youth and young adults about healthy relationships, promoting awareness of intimate partner violence, providing credible research for innovative methods to stop this violence before it begins. You'll hear more about the Foundation's work in each of these areas throughout today's program. If you're using social media to create awareness today, please use the hashtag #WomenForCourage. With all of us here today, we can make a huge impact in our community and beyond. I'm a woman impacted by intimate partner violence. I was in a relationship with an abuser, and at the time, my children were very young, and I was very conflicted. Now, it might seem easy to leave someone who's physically and emotionally hurting you, but he made repeated threats to seriously harm me if I ever did. Finally, thanks to support from family, friends, and coworkers, I gathered the courage to leave. If intimate partner violence can happen to Jamie, if it can happen to me, it can happen to any one of 4 women in their lifetime. It can happen to anyone. In our time together today, I hope that each of you will leave ready to end intimate partner violence, whether by donating to the foundation, educating yourselves and our younger generation about the warning signs of domestic violence, or by speaking up when you sense that something is not quite right in your own relationships or in the relationships you see around you. Now we'd like to welcome Pastor Nick Schreiber, New City Church, South Park Next Gen Student Director in Charlotte, North Carolina.
My name is Nick Schreiber. I'm the Next Gen pastor at New City Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm so excited that I'm able to offer a prayer and a blessing right here at the beginning of this Women for Courage luncheon. And I'm so glad that you're able to join in from wherever you're at watching today. As you know, this year's been a little bit different. Wow, it's been crazy. And as you know, the needs are many, which makes moments like this and it makes the foundation, like the one we're here to support, the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage, that much more crucial and that much more important. So thank you for joining us. As I was thinking about this moment, this prayer, I kept thinking about the theme, Be the Light. What an appropriate theme. You know, light oftentimes in Scripture represents truth. It represents goodness. It represents hope. Light vanquishes the darkness. And so, as you can tell, what an amazing theme. Be the light's a challenge to you and to me. Be the light. But I also know that it represents all that the foundation is and hopes to be. And so right now at the beginning, would you, wherever you're at, would you stop and let's pray together. And so let me pray. God, thank you so much for this moment. Would you stir our hearts? God, would you remind us that you are the one who protects the brokenhearted, that you're the one who protects that you would provide protection for those that are in abusive relationships. We know that you can take the victim and make them survivors, so we pray that. But God, we also ask for your wisdom. We ask for your guidance for the foundation, for the staff, for the board, for the volunteers. We thank you for courage clubs and universities and schools, but we also know in this season in COVID, God, there's so many complexities. So God, would you grant us wisdom? God, would you provide? So God, would you use this day, this moment, to continue to provide, but also, God, continue to grant us the right people at the right times, the right places to continue to do that we believe you've called us to do. So God, thank you. We ask for your blessing, and we pray all these things, and we say, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Schreiber, for those inspiring words. Next, our founders, Ron and Jan Kimball, met our following speaker at a domestic violence community event and would like to shine a light on her compelling story. Here's Paige Mixon.
I would say things in our relationship started to go bad is when I was pregnant with our son, who's now 9. He became really attached and possessive at that time. It would be moments where I couldn't go see my family, or he didn't want me to wear certain things, just kind of the red flags at that moment. You know, the saying that you don't know what goes behind the 4 walls is absolutely true in my case. I felt like I could just hide it. You know, it wasn't bad enough where people can't physically see, you know, the abuse that he did to me. And I just smiled and said everything's okay. You know, we have our ups and downs like any relationship. But I definitely kept it secret most of the time. I was really at that moment where I said, I need to leave. This relationship is toxic and it's controlling for me and my son. And so at that point, we weren't getting along for months at a time. But that day, I never expected the outcome. Pretty much, I came home and I was ambushed by him. He had multiple knives and he picked up my son already, which was weird because I was always the one to pick him up. And you know, you have instincts, you have your gut. I knew something was off. But again, I never imagined for it to escalate at this point where I was literally fighting for my life in an apartment building. I was stabbed at least 6 times. I was stabbed in my chest where I bled out a lot. But I was able to get out by just fight or flight survivor mode that we're all blessed with. They arrested him later that day. My mom retrieved my son, and I was in the Charlotte Trauma Center to get recovery in my wounds. For me, there were a number of reasons why I stayed. One being, you know, I grew up with a single mom, and I wanted my son to have both parents in the home. The reality is, that day, he could have lost both of his parents. One incarcerated for life and one dead. It's important for family and friends who are trying to help a victim or a survivor with their situation to just help them gently, doing things like calling them or giving them the resources to say, hey, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. I really care about you and I genuinely love you. So where you are right now, I know it may be tough for you to leave, but you mean a lot to me, and these are some of the things maybe I can help you with. I was young, and you live and you learn, but I'm really happy now. I've met my fiance. We've been together, and we're getting married in September. It's my ring. Yes, waiting for the second one. And I have my beautiful son. He is 9. He's my heart. and everything I do is for him, and I feel like he was my angel that day when he was watching over me. He helped me survive. And so we'll forever have this unique bond, way more than mother and son.
Thank you so much, Paige, for bravely sharing your story with us. It is inspiring to know that you were able to find happiness after the storm. Certainly may your light continue to shine. Women such as yourself and the others involved in the Diversity Project continue to shine the light for others. As we've said time and time again, intimate partner violence can happen to anyone, and there are a variety of resources for those who are in need. The Diversity Project is another partnership of the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage. It's a group of multicultural people striving to empower survivors of domestic violence. Let's learn now a little more about the Diversity Project, and you can visit the resources page as well at www.jkffc.org for more information.
The Diversity Project is a group of multicultural people striving to empower survivors of domestic violence.
Look for green flags. Happy to introduce you to friends and family.
Accepts my opinion.
Same person in public and private.
Accepts me as an individual.
Accepts blame.
Attends family gatherings.
Thinks I'm smart in public and private.
Genuine apologies. Genuine humble behavior.
Respects no.
The Jamie Kimball Foundation continues to partner with strong members of our community, and we're proud as well to have a great alliance with our very own Mayor of Charlotte, North Carolina, Vi Lyles.
Hello, I'm Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, and I want you to know that I deeply respect the cause that you have all rallied around today. I want to personally thank the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage, which is run by my good friends Ron and Jan Kimball. Your personal tragedy is helping to shine a spotlight on this epidemic of violence, and it is really helping our community. This is a crisis that affects millions of people, and the time is now to do something about it. You can be the light we so desperately need to stop intimate partner violence before it begins. I wish I could be there with you in person, but know that I am here in spirit. I respect and value everything you stand for. Our challenge as a community is to work together seamlessly and holistically to stop domestic violence in its tracks. And it is clear to me that we are doing just that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, as always, Mayor Lyles, for your continued support and advocacy to stop domestic violence. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Ron and Jan Kimball, Jamie's parents and the founders of the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage.
We are predominantly in the prevention, education, awareness, and research to prevent it from happening again. We are looking at establishing courage clubs in high schools throughout public and private schools in the region. And the focus of these groups is to learn about healthy relationships. What's an unhealthy relationship look like? What are the warning signs that you may be in an abusive relationship? And we are hopeful that these students will then become advocates for change in their high schools so that they can recognize those signs and have the courage to speak up if they know that someone is abusing another person.
We know we have to start young. The only way to change the generational amount of violence that's occurring in our societies is to start young. Break the cycle early and make sure we're getting in as early as 5th grade and middle school to develop training, curriculum, and healthy relationships among youth, even as young as 5th grade.
I am hopeful that during this time that we'll be able to make a difference in the lives of others so that no one has to go through the pain and grief we've gone through to help others from this tragedy.
My hope is that the work of the foundation saves lives, improves lives, and allows those who are in tough relationships to know how to get out, how to be safe, and how to become a survivor instead of a victim. For people who want to join us in this effort to change the world in dating violence, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, go to JamieKimballFoundationForCourage.org. Our website is there. You can donate, you can volunteer. JKFFC.org, JamieKimballFoundationForCourage.org is where you can find out how you can join us in this effort.
Thank you, Ron and Jan. If you would like to get involved in the work of the foundation, please visit the foundation's website at www.jkffc.org. Even though COVID-19 forced many of us to cancel various events this year, the Jamie Kimball Foundation is actively involved in one key community initiative, that of the Family Justice Center, a partnership comprised of the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage, Safe Alliance, and Pat's Place, all working with the City of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, and other community domestic violence partners to establish a Family Justice Center. A Family Justice Center is an all-inclusive center housing multiple agencies under one roof, one umbrella to deliver services on the spot to domestic violence victims and their children at their greatest time of need. These centers are the best practice model throughout the country, so stay tuned for more details in the near future. Now, I'd like to introduce a special performance by the One Voice Children's Choir. It's a nonprofit group organization and an internationally renowned performing artist group with a vision to use music to inspire, uplift, and enrich, serve the global community, and build youth. So please enjoy now the vocal talents of these amazing young children.
Searchlights we can see in the dark. We are rockets pointing up at the stars. We are billions of beautiful hearts. And you sold us down the river too far. What about us?
Wow, I don't know about you, but that was so beautiful, so inspiring. We see their light. Thank you to them for that performance. Now, I'd like to introduce you to Melissa Dome, our keynote speaker. She is the survivor of a brutal attack by her ex-boyfriend in January of 2012. Following the attack and many months of recovery and surgeries, Melissa felt compelled to become an advocate and to speak out against domestic violence. Melissa shares her story throughout the globe with the hope of helping others escape an abusive relationship. Now, we'd like you to be mindful that Melissa's story does include some graphic images. Without further ado, please welcome Melissa Dome.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining the Women for Courage virtual luncheon to benefit the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage. My name is Melissa Dome, and I am honored to be included today to share my story of survival. Speaking out about my story has been incredibly healing for me, and today I hope to be a beacon of light to anyone who may be suffering in darkness or silence. I hope to educate those who desire a deeper understanding. I wish we could all be together in person, but given the current circumstances in our world, I'm grateful to connect with you virtually from Florida. Please know that in these uncertain times, we appreciate your generous support now more than ever before. I never thought domestic violence would be part of my life, but truth is, it can happen to anybody. Domestic violence does not discriminate, and you have no idea what might be happening behind closed doors of someone you love. It can happen to individuals of any race, religion, culture, social economic status, age, or gender. This is truly an epidemic in our society, and there is no shame in being a survivor. In 2012, just a few months before Jamie was murdered, I myself survived a horrific knife attack at the hands of my ex-boyfriend. I was stabbed 32 times total and left lying in the road to die outside my mom's house. 19 stabs were in my head, neck, and face, and the rest were in my arms and hands as I fought for my life. My skull was broken, my nose was broken, my front 2 teeth were knocked out, my facial nerve was severed, and I suffered a stroke from the massive amount of blood loss. I was airlifted by helicopter and even given 16 units of blood at the hospital. I flatlined 4 times as my trauma surgeon worked hard to stabilize and save me. I truly thank God every day for the miracle that is my life and the ability to share my testimony. Similar to Jamie's story, the attack was 3 months after I made the decision to leave my abuser because of ongoing verbal, emotional, and escalating physical abuse. I want to go back in time a bit to explain how this escalation happened. When we first started dating, my ex was sweet and charming. He was 1 year older than me in high school, but it started as a regular high school relationship. Hanging out every moment we could, texting every moment we couldn't be together. And looking back, I can see the turn in our relationship was once I planned to go off to college. I received scholarships for my good grades, and he became very jealous of me. He belittled my accomplishments, and he called me horrible names. He basically didn't want me to succeed ahead of him in any way. I tried to leave because of this, but that's when he began to threaten suicide. He said that as his girlfriend, I should be helping him, not abandoning him during his time of need. So like many empathetic women, I stayed, and I thought I could help him or fix him. I connected him with free mental health counseling, and he even got involved with my church. I learned more of his abandonment issues, and I just wanted to show him real love. He also wasn't like this all the time, and was very sorry. He would send me flowers, and he'd confess his admiration for me in multiple page love letters. Since I was completely uneducated about the cycle of abuse and dangerous warning signs, I confused the emotional abuse as him just being a jerk. I also thought this behavior was normal because I grew up where arguing and fighting was a regular occurrence between my dad and brother in the house before my parents got divorced when I was in middle school. Without a healthy and consistent example growing up, I didn't understand my value or my worth as a young teen, and I stayed in this toxic situation for 2 years. The relationship turned physically violent in the last 6 months on several occasions. It started with a push and then escalated to his hands tightly wrapped around my throat. I kept quiet about the abuse because after he would hurt me, he would attempt suicide in front of me until I would be hysterically begging for him to stop. He'd have control of my car keys and my phone so I couldn't get help, and he would tell me that he's going to kill me and my family if I didn't calm down before they got home. And just like Jamie, my friends described me as being very strong and full of life. I remember thinking during this dark time, how could this happen to someone like me? I was strong, I was smart, and I was so independent, but I was also walking on eggshells, hiding in silence and fear. I was doing anything to just make him happy. The only way to describe how I felt during this time is completely trapped. I did not see a way out. I was trapped for nearly 2 years before I was finally able to run away from a beating, break my silence, and call 911. I finally was able to end the relationship with the help of the police, and he was arrested for domestic battery. I thought I was free, but my nightmare was just beginning. It was 3 months after his arrest that my whole life changed with a phone call. He said, "After everything we've been through, can you just give me a hug? I will leave you alone forever, and I'll never bother you again." He said he was in my area, and he was stressing how badly we both needed closure from the terrible end to our relationship. He kept calling, and he was pulling on my heartstrings through manipulation. But what I didn't know at the time is that the period after leaving an abusive relationship is extremely dangerous and volatile, and it's actually when a majority of murders occur. There is no reason after ending an abusive relationship should someone talk or meet with his or her abuser. If your partner has been abusive and controlled or harmed you in any way, you do not owe them face-to-face closure, you do not owe them an apology or an in-person breakup. Every day in our country, at least 3 women are murdered at the hands of their abusive partners, and leaving increases the risk of being killed by 500 times. I was completely naive and uneducated about the danger. I would have walked right out to what would have been my murder scene. I was immediately ambushed when I walked outside, and I was attacked with 2 knives in a very gruesome and unfair struggle. Once 2 witnesses, my angels, intervened, my ex had thought he killed me. He drove away and attempted suicide. He was later found, saved, and taken to jail. And after a 2-year court battle, I am so grateful to say that he is now serving a life sentence with no chance of parole in a Florida prison. After he was sentenced, my whole life changed for the better. I had to come to a place of full acceptance. I had to let go of my plan and follow God's plan for my life. I began working for an organization in Tampa Bay, which helped me rebuild my life, called Julie Weintraub's Hands Across the Bay. I feel that it is my life purpose to be an advocate and help other domestic violence survivors become empowered and independent. I am now an international speaker dedicated to raising awareness because I truly feel that education is the key to prevention. I can confidently say that if I received the education about domestic violence, I would have never gone through what I did. Our youth needs to be taught the skills and given the tools to navigate how to properly go through a breakup and all the emotions they're feeling. I wish I knew then what I know now, which is why I'm so committed to using my voice and my story to help others. My school didn't have a life-saving prevention program like Jamie's Foundation or Hands Across the Bay offers to teach me about healthy relationships, the warning signs, or how to get help. We must teach our youth how to properly navigate a breakup and how dangerous leaving an abusive relationship can be. We must continue to fund prevention programs. I know and I understand that not all men are abusive. So, in closing, I would like to share not only an ending, but I would say a new beginning of my story with you. In a twist of fate, this horrific night not only led me to find my purpose as an advocate, but it also led me to meet Cameron. Cameron is a firefighter who was on my call that horrific night. He is the one who set up the landing zone for the helicopter and helped load me in. We reconnected a year later and have been inseparable ever since. Our fairy tale love story and marriage has reached millions all over the world. He's not only the love of my life, but my best friend and new business partner. We are now on a journey to spread love and healing through alpaca therapy and love. We are the Remedy Farm. We currently have 8 alpacas and 1 llama, which live in our backyard sanctuary. It is our goal to help others heal through traumatic times and post-traumatic stress disorder. Our alpacas bring us so much joy that even on the really hard days, we want to share their warmth with others. I am happy we were even able to meet Jamie's parents, Ron and Jan, at the farm this summer. I'm reminded time and time again that just because we have a bad day doesn't mean we have a bad life. I am beyond blessed to be where I am today. Thank you so much for including me and allowing me to share my story.
Melissa, thank you so much for your courage today in sharing your story with us and that beautiful ending. I'm sure that you will help so many more who are currently in an abusive relationship to realize that there is hope. As Ron and Jan mentioned earlier, our youth and young adults are the primary focus of the Foundation's work. Let's take this time to let a couple of students involved with our high school Courage Club speak out about the work that they're doing to increase awareness of intimate partner violence and teen dating violence.
The progress that we've seen on some of our initiatives is quite rewarding in many respects. For example, with the Courage Clubs, the first club was started shortly after Jamie's death by one of Jamie's best friends who happened to be a teacher at Myers Park High School. And she started that club to honor Jamie and to do something about domestic violence and to make a change. When we first started meeting with the students, they were very timid and you could tell that they were very shy with talking about the subject. And over the years, you have seen these students blossom and find the courage to call out a friend that they know is abusing someone, or if they see someone mistreating someone, they are empowered to do something about it, and they're not afraid to speak up, and they are very open in their dialogue with us on how we can better help equip the students to become advocates for change.
This year, 2020, we had our first annual Teen Summit, and what that is a place for teenagers to come and educate themselves on healthy and unhealthy relationships. Lake Norman Charter attended. We had about 5 people come, and it was amazing. Like, we learned a lot and we did activities as well. I know for me and the other students who attended, a great educational experience.
I think it's important to get involved in at a younger age because, manipulation starts early, and sometimes the manipulators may or may not even be aware of what they're really doing. But eventually that could lead to other things, and it can lead to, intense verbal abuse or physical abuse. And so I think identifying that early and becoming educated on it would, prevent stuff like that from happening in the future. And I also just think, we can build a better future if we are educated on these things, and we can, have more healthy relationships in general.
The biggest way teens can create awareness about the warning signs is through posting them on social media. We live in a world where everything is online, so from posting, it could be shared, and it could be shared throughout many teenagers who might need the help. And also you could be an advocate through making sure you know your warning signs, have them down packed. You could always go to a trusted adult and you can get help for friends, and it's a great way to educate yourself.
My faith and the future of our youth and our community has been restored and revived through the work that I've seen the students themselves do in engaging with each other to develop healthy relationships in their schools.
We believe that our youth are the solution to stopping intimate partner violence before it begins. To make an impact in this area, funds are needed to continue our programs within our Courage Clubs and for young adults. We hope that you're inspired to help support these initiatives. Now, here once again is Melissa with a compelling message.
There are many similarities between Jamie and I's stories. Both of our attacks were post-breakup, both in 2012 and in the same area of Florida. We are both described as having a huge smile, adventurous spirit, and loving hearts. But there is one devastating difference. I still have my voice, and hers has been forever silenced because she was taken from us. Domestic violence is serious, and it is deadly. I have dedicated my life to speaking out against this epidemic, and I am committed to carrying on Jamie's voice to ensure her life was not taken in vain. I am calling on you to be her hands by reaching into your pockets and give generously from your heart, to grab your cell phone and text to donate right now. I am asking you to not only talk the talk, but to be her feet and to walk the walk, to volunteer, to get involved, and do anything you can to help continue on the mission of the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage. Be the light. Thank you for allowing me to share a piece of my heart, and I encourage you to please give from yours. May God bless you and keep you safe.
Thank you again, Melissa. And there are no words to express how much your donation can help. On the web page, we've got several ways that you can make a donation. Text JKFFC to 833-865-4483 or 833-361-4483. Go to our website, www.jkffc.org, and click on Donate. You can download the JKFFC app, or you can write a check made payable to JKFFC. Those can be mailed to our JKFFC office at 1850 East 3rd Street, Suite 110, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28204. And please remember to ask your employer if they will match your donation. If so, please let us know so that your donation today is doubled. Another very special group of supporters are our Circle of Courage members. The Circle of Courage is a group of individuals who lead the way in intimate partner violence prevention by contributing personal gifts of $1,000, $2,500, or more each year. Currently, we have 66 members within the Circle of Courage. We thank you all for your continued leadership and your generous gifts. If you are moved to renew your pledge to the Circle of Courage today or to join as a newcomer, please know that your investment will be used wisely on our crusade to end intimate partner violence. Circle of Courage members receive a new charm every year that they're members. This year's charm is being shown right now on your screen. Now, these beautiful gifts given as a special thank you were specially created and designed by Donald Hack Diamonds for our Circle of Courage donors. Now, we're going to take a brief pause to allow you time to make that donation from your heart. But don't go anywhere, because we've got a special presentation to conclude our program.
Be the light.
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 Be the light. Be the light.
Be the light.
Be the light.
Be the light.
Be the light.
Be the light. Be the light.
Be the light.
Hello, everyone. I am Ron, and this is my lovely wife, Jan Kimball. It gives us great pleasure to recognize a high school Courage Club for going above and beyond in spreading the word on preventing intimate partner and dating violence within their high school and community. They are being honored with the Jill Dinwiddie Courage to Soar Award for outstanding leadership in prevention, education, and awareness to stop domestic violence. This award is renamed this year in honor of our colleague, our mentor, and our friend, Jill Dinwiddie, a Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage board member, for her tireless work over the past several decades on issues that improve the lives of women. Jill, we know you are watching live with us right now. We love you and we thank you for your outstanding contributions on behalf of women and children everywhere.
Thanks, Ron. This year's Jill Dinwiddie Courage to Soar Award goes to Huff High School. Let's listen as Erica speaks with Aubrey Hoppy, the president of Huff High School's Courage Club, and learn more about this remarkable group of students.
Aubrey, this I know the Jamie Kimball story. I'm very familiar with it, a very serious topic. Tell me, for you personally, what made this club or group something that you really wanted to be a part of and invest so much of your time in? Why, personally, is it important to you?
It's really important to me because I know it's just such a heavy topic and not many people are fully familiar with Jamie Kimball or the story or like how many people that this affects. And especially in schools, it's not talked about at all, I feel. And I think it just was like really important to me to spread the word on this, that this is something that people should be familiar with at a young age. And even though it's so heavy and it's really difficult to talk about, it's definitely something that people need to know about when they are younger, so then as they grow up, they still continue to know and they continue to spread the awareness that we are instilling in them at school.
So the issue of domestic violence, have you seen it, as an issue in high schools or young people with dating and relationships or even friendships? Do you see that, it does impact people of your young age when people might not think that it does impact people so young?
It for sure affects people so young, especially teen dating violence. We definitely focus on that more in schools because not many people know signs of that. Even though it's less physical, teen dating violence, I feel like is so normalized. Like some of the signs, people just think it's normal, and it's like, it's how people love. And we are trying to make it clear that that's not a sign of love, and this is not how it should be. And domestic violence is definitely apparent more so in maybe other relationships that students have seen, maybe through their family or just other people that they know who are older. I feel that then it affects their mental health. And then by seeing these domestic violence situations, they see that this is how you're supposed to love someone. And we are just trying to make it clear that this is not how it's supposed to be. And we are making it clear to acknowledge the signs and see what they are and identify them, so that people know what is correct, what is the right way to love.
1 in 5 teens who have been in a serious relationship report being hit, slapped, or pushed by their partner. 1 in 3 teens stated they are text messaged 10, 20, 30 times an hour by a partner inquiring where they are, what they're doing, or who they're with.
Nearly 1 in 5 teenage girls who have been in a relationship said a boyfriend had threatened violence or self-harm if presented with a breakup.
Do these facts surprise you?
How has the courage do you?
Congratulations once again to Huff High School. To see the excitement, enthusiasm, and dedication of these young people, it is so inspiring. Now, we would be remiss if we did not thank our sponsors who've helped to make today's program possible. We have them shown here on your screen now. We want to thank all of our sponsors for their commitment to us, because especially this year, none of this would have been possible without their support and partnership. And now we have a special message from our presenting sponsor, Bank of America.
At the request of the Global Head of Human Resources, Sherry Bronstein, Bank of America established a Domestic Violence Task Force in 2012 to help develop policies and to raise awareness about domestic violence. In 2016, our Life Event Services team was established, and that team supports our employees directly. We provide support for employees and managers to ensure that they know safety and support is available, as well as how to connect to internal and external resources. We focus on a simple message of helping our teammates know how to recognize the signs of domestic violence, respond respectfully, and refer to resources. Bank of America's partnership with the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage is multifaceted. And one of the ways in which we support their work is by co-sponsoring the Employers Workshop held annually, and we've sponsored that for the past several years. The workshop is geared toward bringing Charlotte employers together to have an open dialogue and discuss the impacts of addressing domestic violence in the workplace, to develop domestic violence policies, and to ensure employees' safety for themselves and at their workplace. At Bank of America, we strive to provide an environment where our employees feel safe. Through our partnership with the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage, we have been able to better educate our employees about the seriousness of the issue. We know other employers also share the concern on this issue, and that's why we feel it's very important to share our best practices. As we share in the Employer Workshop, it's often easy and free to develop a policy of domestic violence for support and resources for the employees in the workplace. Many companies have security, employee assistance programs, and counseling that can be leveraged for these efforts. I encourage you to reach out to Ron, Jan, and the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage team to learn more about what you can do for your employees in the workplace to provide support and resources to those who need it most.
Thank you to Bank of America and all of our sponsors. In addition to our sponsors, we want to thank the many ambassadors who've acted as beacons of light throughout this time of change as we've worked to shine the light on preventing intimate partner violence by inviting friends, family, and colleagues to join them virtually today to learn more about the Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage. One in particular rose above and beyond by organizing over 20 guests to attend our virtual event today. So at this time, we'd like to thank Nina Jackson for her support this year. Nina, we'd like to award you a $100 gift certificate to the Palm Restaurant. Thank you. Also, if we were all still sitting down with each other in person, you, of course, would be walking away with some type of cool swag. So right now, I'm going to draw 3 names from the registered attendees who'll be given this Jamie Kimball Foundation for Courage water bottle. It's pretty nice. All right? So, our first winner is Vicki Pace. Congratulations and thank you. Gina LaRosa. Congratulations. LaCarticia McIver. Congratulations, ladies. And again, they walk away, or they'll be sent, these water bottles. This concludes our virtual Women for Courage event. We certainly hope that you've enjoyed the program and that you learned something about domestic violence. We're always grateful for your continued support of our programs. And now it's your time to be the light. Shine for others. Visit www.jkffc.org to view or share today's program or to get more information on how to get involved. And please mark your calendar for April 22nd, 2021 for next year's event. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for joining us to be the light. We appreciate you. In Jamie Kimball's name, we thank you for joining us.